My colleague yield.
I'll be glad to yield.
I thank my colleague. I must say, the amendment offered by our friend from Iowa and the rationale he gives for it is, to me, astonishing. I mean, maybe the caption on this should be, "Give me cows." We don't see cows anymore in Washington, D.C., so therefore, the Department of Agriculture ought to be moved.
Will the gentleman yield?
Well, actually,
we do see a lot of bull here, and maybe not a lot of cows.
the gentleman did not yield.
Claim your time.
But this is astonishing that we're going to play games with the capital of the United States to make points back home because some constituents wonder why you fly to Washington, the nation's capital. Most constituents I know understand why we come here. It's the capital. And, maybe we should take the show on the road and educate the folks who are puzzled by that. One runs for office promising to come and serve here. Maybe what we should do is just be honest and make the government an itinerant road show. We'll go in the 6 months here, 6 months there. So maybe we'll spend 6 months in Salt Lake City and another 6 months in Cedar Rapids, and who knows. And for that matter, if the bottom line is going to be cost, is it cheaper? Well, it's always going to be cheaper. We can always find a place that's cheaper. So maybe there's good swampland in Louisiana that would really be suitable for removing the capital of the United States from here to there, because it will be cheaper. I don't understand why I agree with my friend, Ms. Norton. I think we're spending a lot of time on something that's really not worthy of this committee. Maybe it's a political statement, and maybe it makes some people's heart beat fast, but we're about the people's business. All of us ran for this office knowing, and our citizens knowing, why we came here and that we would come here to do the people's business. So I urge that we defeat this resolution and get on with the people's business. And I'm sorry, I say to my friend from Iowa, there aren't enough cows to satisfy him here.
Mr. Chairman yields back. The gentlewoman yields back. And I'll recognize myself for 5 minutes on this amendment. You better be a little careful about just calling Louisiana a bunch of swampland and disparaging other parts of the country. But no
one disparaged anybody.
The gentleman is not recognized.
No, of
That's
course
exactly
not.
what the gentleman said.
No, you did not describe what I said.
The gentleman is not recognized.
And the gentleman is not recognized. What was said.
The gentleman is not recognized. Nobody has suggested moving the capital of the United States of America. It is absurd to suggest that that's what this resolution says. Let's look. I was elected at the same time that President Obama was elected, 2008, sworn in 2009. Since that time, exclude the Postal Service, exclude the military, the net increase in the number of federal workers is up more than 60,000 people. Why do we think all those cranes are being built? Because they have to continue to house more people. And it's a beautiful spot, and the refurbishment, it's wonderful. I love hanging out in that area. And I'm glad that they're doing it. But the federal government notoriously has added by tens of thousands of people, more and more and more and more and more. And as its growth and expansion is hard to consume in the city, it's one of the worst places to try to transport. You try to drive in the city, it's very, very difficult. Despite the efforts and the billions of dollars that are going into the mass transportation system, at which this committee spends a lot of time working on, the airport is difficult. All we're suggesting is, with this amendment, let's do a cost-benefit analysis. Let's see if it's less expensive. The senior management of each of these departments and agencies I can see as having to be housed here in Washington, D.C., and the centralization of that is a good and positive thing. But if you're going to have rank-and-file members within these 320 or so departments and agencies, they don't all need to be in this metropolitan area. They're not now. And all this is saying is, before you just simply look to the greater Washington, D.C. area to grow and expand and build new buildings and do nothing, look to other parts of the country as well. That's all that we're suggesting there. And that's, if the gentleman wants to vote against it because this is his home district, I totally understand that. But for those of us that want our government to be more reflective of the people, I think you're going to get a different result when those employees actually live in those areas. I just believe that as a concept. And that's why I introduced the resolution, nothing more than that.